Alrighty. I think it's about time that I tell a Japan-paced story. So, here goes. Let's see. The very good place to start is the beginning. I went to Japan in my junior year of college with my friend, Abby, who was my roommate. They matched us up so well for freshman year that we became really good roommates and like the bestest of friends. We were roommates all throughout college and have continued to be friends afterwards. Now, going to Japan has been something that, I mean, both of us, but myself especially, have wanted for years. I wasn't decades old at that point in time. No, I was like 2. I was 2 decades. So decades. It's something I'd been wanting to do for decades. And this was literally like my dream come true. And I mean, we did all the steps together. We filled out the paperwork and got passports, and with the advice of our friend Amy, we bypassed the inept study abroad professor at our college and just got straight in contact with Nagoya. We both even got the same scholarship and then got an apartment together in Cedar Rapids the summer beforehand so we could work and still save all of our monies. But even after all of that work and preparation, none of it felt real until takeoff. I mean, I had, spent so much money on clothes and suitcases. I got a new computer, everything. I invested in a Game Boy SP so I could play my Pokemans, and none of it, even with all this preparation, none of it felt real. Like it was just going to be poof, a dream. But yeah, the moment hit me when we were sitting in our seats, getting ready to take off. And I think I had my Game Boy out, or maybe I was reading Game of Thrones. I'm not too sure. But it was when the plane started moving. Because, you just sit there for like half an hour after you're bored and the plane doesn't actually do anything. But the thing is like, we had already had a connecting flight from O'Hare to Detroit, and then going to Japan. So we'd already done this takeoff thing once before. But this one was the real deal. This one was to Japan. 16 hours later, I was very glad to not be on a plane anymore. Pro tip: first time you're flying, don't go on an 18-hour journey. And it wasn't until then that we realized that our 2 years of Japanese wasn't really enough to prepare us wholly. We met up with a bunch of the students that run the International Lounge at Nagoya Gakuen, and I believe there was a teacher, Shibata-san. I think he was there. And it made us realize like how little Japanese we knew. It wasn't also until later we found out that our one textbook, our one singular textbook was supposed to last for 1 year, whereas our Japanese class made it go for 2. But yeah, no, everyone was nice and awesome, and we did have some really good conversations out to start with. Hand gestures will get you everything. Oh, I have a friend. He just wanted to see what was going on. But another thing is that these students knew quite a bit of English, because that's kind of their thing. So that made it a lot easier for us to communicate them, because we could have like a quasi-English, quasi-Japanese conversation. But that leads us to Masa. Oh, Masa. But yeah, after, everyone got there in a bus ride, we all got to the seminar house where we would all live, and for once, I wasn't Abby's roommate. They had tried to split all the students who shared a native language. They tried to split them up, so that would encourage us all to use Japanese to communicate, because there were a bunch of Chinese, and I believe there was a student from Malaysia, and we had 2 Koreans and stuff like that. Because Abby was down the way on 3rd floor with Ju-young, who was awesome. She'll probably be in stories, because she's awesome, and Hunjin. I was more in the middle of the 3rd floor with Kanae, the Japanese 3rd floor RA for us girls. I was so enchanted with this place, I just couldn't sleep, even though my little bedroom in my apartment looked a little like this. You know, I was also extremely jet-lagged and hungry, so I wasn't gonna go to sleep anytime soon. I just walked down the way to Abby's room, and we decided to walk down to the 7-Eleven, because 2 of our upperclassmen friends had been doing this same thing the year before, so we got a few cool tips and tricks and places to go from them. Things like bypassing our study abroad professor and contacting the Japanese school directly, but also important things like where the 7-Eleven is. So we had a general area to go, and so we struck out exploring at like 1 or 2 a.m. I think it was. Maybe 3, I'm not sure. On the way out of the seminar house, we met up with Masa. Masa was the 1st floor boys RA, and I believe he was just coming back from the konbini. Any Japanese lesson. Konbini is katakana and shortened for convenience, as in convenience store. Pretty much aligned to like a gas station. But except they don't give gas, because they have gas stations to give gas, but they don't have little convenience stores in them. Konbini, everyone. But yeah, Masa was RA to, you know, a bunch of English-speaking students. I mean, as well as, you know, Chinese and other stuff and whatnot. And he was also a part of the international club, but he didn't speak a lot of English. Like any. I mean, or maybe he did and he was just trolling us. Perhaps I will never know. So he sees us and he stops to talk to us and he decides to walk with us. And you know, with a combination of our skills and Masa's awesome iPhone translator type thing, we managed to have a conversation while we walk, which partly consisted of him telling us that it's not safe for two young ladies to walk alone in this part of town so late at night. This is actually a really nice part of town. Although, there have been reportings of purse snatchers. I mean, that's a nice sentiment and all, but Masa came up to like here on me. I mean, and it's not like I didn't see later at the soccer field that Masa is like ripped. But yeah, overall, the late night exploratory konbini run of our first few hours in Japan was a success. I believe I got a Final Fantasy 13 themed soda. I believe it was an elixir. I think it was like $2, roughly equivalently. Kind of. It was like, I think it was like 200 yen, something like that. I got some melon some melon bread. I think this nice thing, it was like a pizza bread. It was just like a loaf of bread, but it had like a stripe of like tomato type stuff, and then like cheese and onions. It was kind of like pizza, only not. I thought it was delicious. Of course, by the time we get back to the seminar house, I'm actually tired enough to sleep for a week. So yeah, there goes like the first night I was in Japan. Maybe I'll go through and like try and like sort out certain events. That'd be awesome. Or maybe I'll just go through one of my everyday stuffs. I think that'd be cool too. Because I mean, everyday life also was weird sometimes. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope you guys will tune in for my next story. Maybe it'll be about Japan, maybe it'll be about something else. If you want to hear a story about something in particular, leave a comment down there. If you really like hearing about Japan, tell me in the comments, and I'll continue spouting on about Japan. Maybe I'll give little mini Japanese lessons. Maybe we'll have more little konbini things. Alright, well, thank you for listening, and just remember, it's a true story.
You know, there's another guy, but he looked like he could cleanly pull off 63 murders. So he's his accomplice.
Did you like this story? Help support Memoirs of a Gretchen by subscribing, liking, or even just leaving a comment. If you'd like to hear a certain topic, say so in the comments, and if I have a story that fits it, I'll tell it. PG-13 though, please. Think of the children! Just remember, it's a true story.